Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Space Snacks. I hope you're hungry for some good conversation. Tonight, I have JJ Hastings, and some of you guys might know her. Let me get her and me on here. Hi, JJ. As
Hi,
the
Sally.
She was the commander on my Sensoria mission, so she is the director, CEO of Analogs LLC, but also she runs the Sensoria Program. That's her baby. So, welcome to the show, JJ.
Thanks, Sai. So good to be back with you, even if it's only virtual.
I know,
Hopefully
but
in person soon. Hopefully in person soon. And I still can only believe, I can't believe it's only been, what, 2 months since our mission?
isn't it crazy? Like this all we came out of the mission, and then all of this happened.
Yeah, we went from one ISO into another.
It's so crazy to think about. Well, I'm glad that you're
Oh,
here
it's been
so that
great.
we can talk about food and space
Yes.
and analog missions and all kinds of
Yes.
stuff. But
Let's nerd out.
let's talk about you and your background because you're really
Sure.
interesting. The first time I met you was we lived in the Lunaris moon
Hmm.
simulation for 2 weeks together, and I love the fact
Yep.
that you're a biohacker and you love
Yeah.
extreme environments. So can you tell us a little
Yeah.
bit about your background?
Yeah, in fact, the only way I really know how to describe myself when someone asks, "So, what do you do? Who are you?" I have to just say, "Look, I'm an extremophile." That's about the only way I know how to describe myself. I love extreme everything, extreme ideas, extreme sciences, extreme environments. So, yeah, just take me to the extreme anytime. Um, yeah, yeah. So we ended up on the mission together, what, 2018, July 2018,
Yep.
at
Yep.
Lunar Station. That was a 2 week lunar mission. And yeah, it's just been a love affair friendship ever since.
It makes me wonder, have you always been extreme, even as a child?
Oh, look, I was always a good girl, good girl. Studied hard, loved school. Well, not always, but mostly. Big nerd. Loved going out in nature, definitely. Loved going outside, and my friends who weren't as nerdy as me, used to complain about, Jay, will you stop doing science? Like, does everything have to turn into an experiment? I'm like, yeah, but it's so cool to look at things under a microscope.
So you've always
So
been
yeah, so my friends used to
fascinated.
roast.
So you've
What's
always
that?
kind of been drawn to the microscopic world?
Yeah, oh, definitely. I love seeing things at different scale. I love looking up into the sky. I love looking down into the micro scale. So, and I like sometimes in my artwork, because I'm also an artist, I like trying to collapse some of those scales so it kind of disrupts your perception of scale. Um, yeah, yeah. So I love looking through all sorts of different lenses.
So why space? What was it? What is it about space in particular that draws you?
It's always the unknown. I love dynamic new challenges, the unexplored, the as yet unseen. So for me, space is the next horizon, and that's where I need to go.
Oh, so if you're going to go anywhere, JJ, where are you going to go? Are you going
Yeah.
to the ISS? Are you going to the moon? Are you going to Mars? Where do you want to explore the most?
um, you know, the geek in me wants to say all of the above. Take it. I'll accept any mission if if given access. I'm fascinated by the moon because of my love of extreme mission field work. So I'm a field researcher. I like going out into the field to do research in extreme biology, and how that can relate maybe to astrobiology science. Um, I'd love to go to the moon as a base because I also love Antarctica, and I have a feeling it's kind of going to be that same sort of cool, nerdy environment of living
Oh,
in fractional G. So Antarctica meets zero zero water meets nerds on a space base. Um, yeah, but look, I think the ISS is probably, or even a private base would be pretty darn cool.
yeah,
So I think that's
pretty much
probably near future.
anything.
Yeah,
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 well, you recently went to Antarctica, and
yeah.
so what was that like? Because you're exploring extreme environments here on Earth, and thinking of Antarctica as an analog for the moon. And so what were you thinking there when you finally made it?
Yeah, look, the journey in itself had me thinking about what it would mean to go to the moon. So I, unlike some other people that go to Antarctica, I decided to go the old school way. I sailed in a 19th century bark, Shackleton styles.
Couldn't do it.
Literally,
I can tell
literally
you right now. Well,
sailed.
I mean, I think I could do it, but I would be terrified. Worry. I mean,
Yeah,
going across the Drake Passage in a basically a wooden boat.
yep. Yeah, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are some pretty intense ways as you have firsthand experience. You
Well,
went out that way too. You went out to Point Nemo. That's, pretty similar.
it is. I was just amazed at being surrounded by the cold, deep, dark colored water for every direction you could see, and knowing if you fell overboard, well, you were dead. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, there
Yes.
is nothing out there. And it is
Yes.
extreme water. Talk about extreme. That is one of the most extreme parts of the ocean on the planet. You have the convergence through a very tiny, tiny inlet between the Pacific and Atlantic oceans, and that that Antarctic convergence of climates from that southern continent into the Pacific and Atlantic oceans it's just so extreme. So yeah, sailing in that small boat, actually physically sailing it myself. We had to furl the sails and actually do all of it ourselves while we're still trying to get our sea legs and get our bearings. Yeah, so it was pretty awesome, and it
That's a
definitely had me thinking about what the experience would be like, in those first few trips to the moon.
right.
It takes
In
about the
a
same
hopefully
amount of
not quite
time. Mhm. It takes
hopefully
about the
not a
same amount of
rickety.
time. Your cabin, like your bed, is about the same size as the bunk you'd have. So there are a lot of analogous experiences. Um, so yeah, it had me thinking a little bit about that, and then ending up in Antarctica, which if for anyone that has a chance, please take that opportunity to go. It is the most extraordinary place I have ever seen.
It
And Lord
is
knows
on the
I've
bucket
traveled every
list.
continent now on Earth.
So, what was it like when you first spotted land? I mean, what
Oh
was that
man.
feeling?
Oh, elation. The trip down, the sail down was pretty rough. It was pretty rough. We had some pretty strong winds and some pretty chop sea. So by the time we saw land, everyone in the boat was just ecstatic
I
because we knew that there'd be shelter.
I imagined, lifting off and that feeling of like taking off on your way to the moon and then the landing on the moon and just kind of
Yeah.
as you're going across these rough seas and just thinking, are we going to make it? And then you finally see land and then step off and that feeling you must get. I would imagine that, the moon is another level, but similar in that kind of wow and
Oh man,
awe.
having to put on layers every time you remember this feeling, putting on all those layers just to leave. You had to do the same anytime you left, left your cabin and had to get 4 layers on just to get up on deck, or else freeze in 20 minutes.
Right.
And then once you were down on the continent, the strong winds were the thing that would really, really uh, chill you to the bone, literally chill you to the bone.
Wow.
So yeah, absolutely incredible place. I will say though, it was one of the most eye-opening experiences I've had in terms of witnessing climate change in
Mm,
rapid pace, and
mhm.
actually terrifying at how grand that
Right.
change is in Antarctica. Seeing those glaciers just calve massive, school bus building size glaciers just calving into the water and creating small tsunamis that had
Wow.
all the wildlife on the shores running uphill quickly.
I can
It was
only imagine. I hope to see that
yeah,
someday. Well, when
yeah, it was striking.
thinking about food and
Yes.
Mars, what would you want to eat on the moon? Not Mars, on the moon.
On the moon? The moon.
Yes,
Oh gosh. Definitely cookies.
cookies.
It's my comfort food. Yeah, it's my comfort food. You know how I was in Hab. As soon as I got the smell, it's like a holistic experience for me.
Yeah.
It brings back really strong memories of growing up and my mom making cookies, and then that sort of therapeutic smell when I'm making cookies.
Okay,
So
let's see if our
yeah.
audience can guess what do you think JJ's favorite cookie is? Is it chocolate chip? Is it peanut butter? Is it oatmeal raisin? What are the people who are listening right now? Type in your response and let's see if somebody can guess what your favorite cookie is. And do you bake?
Yeah, I do when I get a chance. Look, I'll admit I'm a New Yorker, so I tend to defer to people that are much better cooks than me and order in. That's kind of one of those things that you get spoiled in New York
Oh
is
yeah.
being surrounded by incredible restaurants. So you're like, you know what? By the time I burn this, it's probably going to be cheaper for me to buy takeout. Um, but I do every so often I do love cooking for myself. Just kind of
Oh,
experimenting and trying something out that I haven't tried before. Maybe something that I haven't been able to get at a restaurant around me. So
oh
yeah, I
yeah.
like every so often experimenting with something.
I like to dabble in stuff too, but boy, on a long day, takeout usually sounds so good. But me and my husband have been cooking a lot at home, and he's been doing a lot of
Yeah.
cooking. We just did a shrimp and grits meal where we made cheesy
I
grits,
love sugar grits.
and then
Oh
yeah,
man.
and then we split the
Oh
shrimp in
man.
two, and he cooked up his following a recipe, and then I just winged it, and they both turned out really
Oh,
good. So you could put a scoop of both of them on the grill.
so good.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
good. Cheesy grits. I think the best shrimp and cheesy grits I ever had were in North Carolina. And they had
Ooh.
homemade applesauce, really cinnamony, chunky applesauce on it as well.
Oh,
Oh, that was so good.
now,
I think I instantly gained 10 pounds after eating it, but it was worth every bite.
so what was the first? I'm going to go back to Antarctica because I
Yeah.
want to think what was the food like on your journey there?
Actually, it was
And
amazing. It
yeah.
was really amazing. There's a lot of soups, which, is
Hmm.
fine. You while you're sailing, I did not eat much. I just
Oh.
wasn't hungry.
Hmm.
There's a lot of fatigue.
Hmm.
You're in motion. It wasn't so much that I felt seasick in the sort of usual way, but because your baroreceptors are so active, like constantly in motion and dramatic motion too, just the act of trying to keep yourself balanced and not falling instantly is exhausting. So your body is pretty much like, just give me the minimum and then put me to bed.
Hmm.
So I, eat a little bit of bread or something, have a little bit of water for just the passive drink. And then once you're in Antarctica, the waters are much calmer, and we had incredible chefs on the boat. So seasoned, they've been on that boat for years, so they've got the kitchen down to a machine,
Yeah,
and they're amazing, amazing chefs.
that's what kind of what I found on the Doherty's Resolution was the same thing, just amazing cooks.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
when you think about your cookies and eating these
yes.
delicious cookies, nobody's replied. So I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite cookie?
Oh, good old chocolate chip cookies.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
old chocolate chip. Just give me a classic chocolate chip cookie any day.
Oh, nice and warm, just in
Makes me
the
so,
oven. Oh,
right out of the oven, nice and crispy with the gooey chocolate
yes.
chips. Oh yeah, yeah. And hell, even the cookie dough. Like I know, I'll accept the risk.
Now, who would you want to share your cookies with? If you could have cookies on the moon with anybody, who would that be?
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people would be talking about like their heroes and all of that. I think after my experiences going into isolation with you, I think having someone who's willing to just be like the comedian at the end of the day and just kind of keep me in good spirits and feed my silly side. I
Do
think I
you
think
like,
in the end, yeah, any of my favorite comedians are
who
very
is your
welcome to
favorite
come with me.
comedian? Who do you like listening
Oh
to?
God, Oh God, that's like asking my favorite child, man. I was raised in a family that loves stand-up comedy. Yeah, look, John Mulaney is kind of like my sense of humor. So maybe having conversation over cookies and milk with John Mulaney, that sounds like a good end of the day.
So now, have you ever done any stand-up comedy?
No, 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 no. I am, you know me. I'm not. I have stage fright. I don't like these things.
I know, but the fact that you love comedy and all of that stuff, and but you're
Oh
so,
yeah.
I mean, I know that you're from the going into Linares and not wanting your picture taken because I was kind of
Yeah.
the photographer and stuff, and now here I am. I got you on video.
I
Like
know.
I
I
remember those
know.
first
I know.
photos. Your face would be
You.
covered by
I'm
your hair.
blaming you. I'm
Yes.
blaming you. Getting me out of my closet.
But I mean, I think you're so right with having good sense of humor and
Yeah.
being able to kind of just kind of shed some of the stress and emotion from living in,
Yeah.
extreme isolated environments and all of that kind of stuff. Can you
Yeah.
talk for a minute about the Sensoria program and why you wanted to go to high seas and do a Mars simulation?
Yeah. So what's exciting about Sensoria is that we're giving. Are you finding our patch? Oh, please tell me you're finding your patch. Oh, that's us at the mission. Yeah. So this was us all very excited right before we went into the habitat. Um, the Sensoria program is meant to be an opportunity to place women at the center of our shared narrative for the future of space exploration. So one of the challenges women have professionally in STEM and STEAM is actually receiving and finding opportunities that are placing them in positions of leadership, of highlighting their research and giving them opportunities to actually go out and do field work. So we try and at least provide women to have a prioritized opportunity to go out into the field, to do missions in these sorts of research stations, as well as go out to the field, like places like Greenland and the Arctic Circle, and then back to Antarctica. Yay! There's our gorgeous patch. There's our gorgeous
Yes,
patch.
I love it.
Designed by the
And
amazing Erin Bonilla, and then made by the incredible Tim Gagnon. That was just so cool.
yeah, it's one
Yeah,
of my favorite patches. And
so
um,
beautiful.
but also I feel so lucky to have been able to meet you in Lunaris and go through that
Yeah,
experience together. And of course,
yeah.
I was doing food and mood and all of that kind of stuff. And then for
I sent
you
them your
to
emoji surveys.
yes, and then
I love those.
you reaching out to me to come and be a part of Sensoria, and then just the narrative and the vision you have behind that and what you want to do for the future. And food is a big part of that. One of the things that
Yeah,
I love about some of the things that you said was that the food and culture connection to earth, why food is important to human psychology beyond nutrition. And so what are
yeah.
some of your thoughts about food and culture and that go beyond just sustenance when we're thinking about going to the moon?
Absolutely. In fact, this is something that NASA thinks very deeply about beyond the meeting the nutritional needs of the crew, which is important. And there are so many parts of meeting nutritional needs beyond just calories and macronutrients. There's gut flora and body flora and all sorts of other things that come into this notion of what you put into your body that keeps it healthy and sustains you beyond just the basics, right? You've got food that can enhance your mood in so many different ways, everything from stimulating memories, like we were talking about with the chocolate chip cookies. Just the smell of chocolate chip cookies can send me back to so many different times in my past. Um, the gut brain connection, that's still being further studied as to how that particularly works, but
Mhm.
there's very strong evidence that shows there's a connection between our food, our immune system, and our mood.
Right.
that is mediated by our gut flora. So there's that, and look, food is so deeply ingrained in human culture. What we smell, it's that's why we call it sensoria, right? We're talking about all the different ways that our bodies interact with our environment. And part of that is how we form connections to our home planet, all of the
Mhm.
history that led up to leaving Earth, our connections to one another, and connections back to the cultures that we grew up with, right? So there's so many different things, right, that are so important about food that go way beyond nutrition. It's so crucial to thinking about what food's going to go with us when we leave Earth.
And thinking about just living in two simulations with you, how important mealtime was, and
Yeah.
sitting around the table, talking, eating something that made us feel good, but also the conversations that are associated with that, and how important that is. Uh,
Yes.
and so those are some of my favorite missions. Some of my favorite memories from those missions. But what
Yeah.
I love is when people don't realize is that you came in and you are fascinated with microbiomes and our
Yeah.
biology, and
Yeah.
you made us swab all kinds of places to see how our
Yeah.
microbiomes change over time. And a lot of people don't make that connection that you just made between what we take in and how that might change our the microbes in our gut, but that can also lead to expressions in the change in the microbes on our body too, to some extent, right?
Right. Well, and the way that even the microflora within our nose and in our mouths can actually affect our sense of taste and smell. There's so many incredible ways that microflora in our environment can produce a sense of smell from our bodies, can mediate
Oh
our
no, I think we
senses.
just froze. Okay.
Oh no, am I still there? Sorry.
Yeah, you're still there.
uh, so yeah, I was just saying there are different ways that microflora can express scent from our body that can mediate the way that we sense the world around us through our taste and smell. Um, yeah, there's so much that we still need to further understand of the role that microflora play in the way that we understand the world around us and how they sustain the rest of this body. And the way that our interactions, as we're seeing with coronavirus, right, this SARS-CoV-2,
Hmm.
um, we're seeing ways that one, possibly it's affecting our sense of smell. That's still yet to be tested, but imagine that, losing your sense of smell,
I
either
know.
for a while or permanently. That must be scary.
I,
um
I can't even imagine, because I'm
yeah.
such a foodie, and like you said, that the sensation and the everything that comes along with food, and sensoria being the senses, the smell,
Hmm.
the taste, the texture, all of those things. And so, do you have a favorite celestial object? Is it the moon?
Oh, it's actually Europa. Europa is where I if I had another 100 years, I'd want to go to Europa. Yeah, because the if you're thinking about Antarctica and other polar regions, these areas of subglacial microbial niches that we haven't yet had access to. Oh, I'm excited about that, and what maybe we see on Earth, what it could maybe help us predict might be present on Europa. Oh, are you looking for a photo of Europa?
Well,
Ah, that's
I and I had
great.
to show
Yes,
this graphic because I love it. It's the NASA
yes,
travel, the solar system, and
yes,
I'm just
yeah.
like, oh, that is so cool.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so stoked for Europa. Like, I know that NASA has some planned missions, and I'm hoping to support some of those tests that go before, either up in Arctic or Antarctic, because many of the challenges that we'll experience on Europa, once we finally get there and can put some machines on the surface, will be pretty similar to what we're trying to achieve by drilling through 2 kilometers of ice in Antarctica to get to that deep ice that could show some really exciting stuff in terms of extremophiles.
And that's what's so exciting about, NASA's clearly showed that the road to, human space exploration is through analogs.
Yeah.
And this whole idea of going to extreme environments like Antarctica, setting up stations similar to what we might have on a moon base, or testing equipment like you were talking about to be able to do things like that here on Earth. And so when you think of the Sensoria program, where's what's coming up next? What do you want to do?
Oh gosh, so much. You know me. I'll do all the things. Just tell me who and how, and we'll try and do it. Um, I really want a Sensoria crew to go to Antarctica in the next 2 years. I really want to take my crew with me. Yes, yes, girl, we're going. We're gonna go.
I haven't been voted out of the habitat yet.
No, no, no. We need a chef.
Yes.
Yeah,
I found
yeah,
my
definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So maybe we'll do some more simulations in habitats with partners that we've already established. We may go out to the field and do some more field training, because that's part of this, is providing training for upcoming crews. So learning how to both train and then select the right crews to go on specific missions that are driven around a specific question or set of questions, in partnership with our academic and commercial partners that we've got. So do stay tuned. Lots of exciting stuff already in progress that I can't quite disclose yet, but we are having upcoming missions, and news will be coming up as to how you can join the crew. And it's so important for us to say, right? So everyone thinks that we're saying, oh, it's women only. Oh, you're saying men can't do this. No, 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 no. We just want women to be in the majority and in leadership positions on these missions. We are so excited to have our male colleagues on the missions with us. So bear
Yep,
that in
and some of them
mind,
are listening.
gentlemen.
Ryan, I know that he'd be
Yes,
all for going
Ryan,
to
Ron, yep,
Antarctica. Ron with
yep.
us. And
Yeah, in
so,
fact,
um,
Ryan, you and I should
what do
talk
you like
about
to
on
drink?
Mars. What, sorry?
What do you like to drink? Are you like, yeah, I know you like chocolate chip
The,
cookies, but are you drinking
uh-huh.
milk with that chocolate chip cookie, or are you drinking something a little bit harder?
uh, with my chocolate chip cookies, always milk, always. Like that's just a rule. You can't corrupt a
Not
cookie.
Baileys on the rocks? No
No,
Baileys?
no, 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 no. Cookies are important. Those are fundamental. um, and I'm also kind of a purist when it comes to alcohol. I think so. I'm a single malt whiskey girl. I love
Oh,
single malts from all over, all over.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize that.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
when I come to visit you in New York, you got a little stash going from
Uh huh.
places around the world.
Uh-huh. Yep, you better believe it. Some Japanese whiskeys, some Highland whiskeys. Yeah, you better believe it.
And so
I
some of
also
that
like
would be
good bourbon
coming.
too.
Does some of that come with you when you go to the moon?
Oh, hell yeah. In fact, who was I? I was telling someone I brought back some homemade vodka from Vernadsky Station in Antarctica. So they are very proudly rumored to be the most southerly bar in the world.
Nice. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, yeah. So they make their own homemade, home distilled vodka, water. And I
Oh,
brought back an amazing bottle of vodka from Vernadsky Station. Yeah.
okay. All right. Well, hey, hopefully there'll be some left by the time I come to visit you.
Oh yeah, most definitely. There will be. Just bear in mind it'll probably clean out, as we were talking about microflora, it might clean out everything that's in there.
Hey, that's good to
It's
do every
strong.
once in a while,
It's pretty
right?
strong. Yeah, it's pretty strong.
One one last food question. Are you a snacker?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah. Yeah, and anything
No, I
really.
know
It,
you
it
like
totally depends.
cookies.
Yeah. And
Are
no,
you
no, cookies are
sweet?
special. Um, I'm mostly a savory snacker. Um,
Ah,
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think about on our mission what I would snack on mostly. Um, because it's different when they're freeze dried. Freeze dried foods have me snacking in different ways than when I'm back
yeah.
in the hydrated world.
Well, the thing about it with our last mission with we didn't have snacks, and that was like we brought in a few, but we didn't have like. Had I known that there weren't any
Yeah.
snacks provided, oh boy, I would have gone crazy and loaded up on all kinds of snacks before going in
Yeah.
because
Yeah. I mean, I got those like energy bars, but that's not
yeah,
really a snack. That's more like a, I need some energy before EVA. That's not
right,
really a snack.
exactly.
More popcorn.
Oh
Popcorn was amazing. That was
yes,
amazing. I'm
that
very pleased
was.
that I brought the popcorn. That was a definite plus. So yeah, popcorn, that's got to be in space. Oh my gosh, could you imagine watching popcorn pop in zero G?
I'm just imagining it floating around, and you just kind of
Yes. Yeah,
like
exactly. Oh,
Pac-Man
I love it.
trying to eat it all, right?
Reminds me of Homer Simpson with the donuts in space.
So one last thing, and that
Yeah.
is where can people connect to learn more about Sensoria and the upcoming missions and follow you?
Absolutely. The Sensoria program can be found at sensoria.space. And I've been a little inactive lately because I've been overseas and away from comms, so I've been a little inactive on the social media. But you can otherwise find me at Hacker Astro or JJ_Hastings on most social media. But do stay tuned. Be sure to sign up for any updates with Sensoria because we will be rolling those out pretty soon, including some exciting sort of programming in the interim until we can meet in person.
Oh, I can't wait. And so it's always great to have you talk to you, JJ. I'm so glad we got a chance to connect on Space Snacks. Hopefully, on a future show, we'll get cooking together and making cookies. You know?
Yes. Oh, we better do cookies. I did that. Remember, I did those ginger step ones
Yes.
with the blue pigment from Spira. that was that
Yes.
was something unique.
Well, that's what I like is the creativity that you always bring.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so,
Thanks.
those of you guys that watching, I hope you'll follow JJ and the Sensoria program and tune in for another Space Snacks, hopefully tomorrow. If you know somebody who should be on the show, afterwards, I will drop the sign up location in the chat. So, stay tuned. And thanks, everyone. Bye.